Hola, ¿qué tal? Aquí Julio Monroy desde Delta Records. Hoy tenemos un gran invitado, es un ingeniero de masterización increíble. Y bueno, este live va a estar todo en inglés, entonces aquí vamos. Hey Will, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, Julio? Nice to see you here.
Nice to see you again. It has been like maybe 1 month, I guess.
Yeah, something about there. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you for being here with us. It's an honor, my
yeah.
friend.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, this is
Thank
great. I
you.
I love the look of your studio. It's so cool. You got
Oh,
such a
you.
great vibe going in there.
Thank you, my friend. You have to come. You're
I'd love
invited.
to.
Yeah.
Second.
And okay, don't worry. And we are with David Sicard. Hey, David, how are you?
Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome to this new episode of Producing with Julio Monroy. Will, it's a huge honor to have you here. Thank you a lot for taking the time for this interview. And well, we are huge fans of Asking Alexandria, My Chemical Romance, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, and so we are really excited and we hope everyone coming in is as excited as we are. I leave you with the conversation.
Great to meet you too, David.
Thank you, David. Well, we have only two mandatory questions in the live stream.
Okay,
Just
ready?
two. The other are they will come in the conversation. But can you tell us how did you begin in this music audio industry when you were a child? What happened?
Yeah. So my background is I'm a performance person. I started on piano when I was goodness, 4 years old, something like that. I picked up the trumpet when I was in grade school, elementary school, and trumpet is how I entered into college. I was a jazz trumpet major. And very shortly after starting college, I was introduced by a friend to Logic Pro. We were living in the dorms together, and my introduction to Logic Pro was my introduction to the audio world and recording and mixing and mastering, and I instantly fell in love with it, and very quickly I was exchanging time practicing trumpet for time practicing microphone technique and mixing technique. And yeah, just through reading the Logic manual, I learned a lot about how to mix. And from there, I got some internships at studios. My first real job as a mastering engineer was at Remote Control in Santa Monica, which is Hans Zimmer's studio complex. I was an in-house mastering engineer there. After that, I started as an assistant to Howie Weinberg at Howie Weinberg Mastering. And to this day, I'm still helping Howie, at least part-time, and running my own seismic mastering as well.
Wow, cool. So you play trumpet. You're a musician. You know how to read scores
Yeah.
and everything. And now you're a master engineer. But what happened with the trumpet? Do you still play it, or do you have a
Yeah,
band?
it's
Or
it's actually it's right up there right now.
okay, okay,
But I don't play trumpet much anymore. I do have a piano and I like to play my piano. But the trumpet, man, it takes so much muscle,
yeah,
and when you stop playing for any amount of time, you lose it so quickly. And especially because I was like a lead trumpet, like jazz big band playing the high notes, and you just if you don't use it, you lose it so quickly. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm not much of a trumpet player these days, but that's where I come from.
Wow. Well, I remember your piano. It was amazing when you showed me your piano. It's like a MIDI old piano.
Yeah, old MIDI. It's an old player piano from the 1915 is when the serial number was minted, and it is a Steinway player piano. So it takes rolls that look like basically it is analog MIDI, and it plays songs,
Okay.
and man, it is so cool to see
Yeah.
that technology. Like,
Yeah.
120-year-old tech.
I need to see that piano again because I was like, wow, I can't believe. I told them
Yeah.
to my friends about the piano. But my friend, going back to what you were saying, you said that you began working in the Hans Zimmer studio. Tell me more about it.
Yeah, well, it was at the time, it was a startup, and it
Mhm.
was called the Bleeding Fingers Custom Music Shop. And they had just built a new building with about 15 studio production rooms in the building, all soundproofed and just beautiful electricity and all that great lighting. And they hired 12 composers and me as a mastering engineer. So the 12 composers, their job was to write a new song every day. And my job was to make sure that 12 composers writing a song a day comes out consistently, so that the studio sounded, well, it had like a brand to it, you know? It had a signature sound. So,
And Hans
yeah,
Zimmer
that was
was
the
there?
job. I'm sorry?
Hans Zimmer was there all the time, or?
Yeah, he's so this is a brand new building, and Hans was in the building right next to it. And occasionally, Hans would write, the theme song to a TV show, and that cue would come over to me. But most of the time, I was working with other composers. But that's kind of how that business works: is you have like the big name, and then you've got a bunch of people working for them, and the big name comes up with a theme, and then the other composers sort of embellish on that theme, and
Mhm. Well, cool, cool. Yeah, it's amazing, man. Do
it
you
was
like Hans
it was
Zimmer?
like it was like boot camp. It was
Yeah.
like a time in military training to become a great mastering engineer. Because literally, the job is like, here's 12 new songs you got to make. Here's 12 new songs you have to master today, and there's going to be 12 more tomorrow, and there's going to be 12 more the day after that. So you can't get behind. You have to get these done because there's more coming tomorrow.
Well, that's great, man. It's amazing. So, David, do you like Hans Zimmer?
I do actually a lot movie soundtracks. In fact,
Yeah.
when I was younger, I actually wanted to do music scoring for movies. Then I realized how deep it is and how it changes from country to country. Because I actually
Mhm.
managed to do some composings for TV, and it turns out that, for example, what we think is sadness in Asia is completely different, and it's like, oh, that sounds really melancholic. So it's a lot of work, and I imagine mastering that is a huge thing as well.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it's a lot, and with composition mastering as well, you find that you don't just master the stereo two track. You're also mastering different versions of the song. Here's the song without drums, and it's the ambient mix. Here's the song that's
Oh,
just
cool.
drums and top line, so that's the percussion mix. And here's the song without low end. That's the airy mix or something like that. And sometimes it's just,
Yeah.
here's all the stems, master the main and master all the stems because the client wants it.
Well, cool, man. So you have I think that working in that with Hans is it's a great opportunity. But I think it was more like music for movies or something like that.
Mostly TV shows.
TV
Yeah.
shows.
It's
So,
I think mostly those songs went to reality TV. And the whole
oh,
idea of the custom music shop is that a TV show can come in and say, hey, we have this scene that needs to be happy for the first 1 minute and 32 seconds. And then at 1 minute and 32 seconds, the main character hears some really bad news. So it has to go from happy to sad right at that moment. And then that's the cue. And then a composer takes that and writes a song that's happy for 1 minute, 32 seconds, and then sad. And
yeah.
then we deliver. So that was
Wow,
the gig.
cool. So like running, and so you began as a trumpet player. Then a few years later, you uh, worked in Hans Zimmer's studio.
Mhm.
But how did you end mastering, all those great rock bands like My Chemical Romance. And tell us
Yeah.
more about it because it's very fascinating, your history.
Yeah, well, that's all thanks to Howie Weinberg and my time spent there at Howie Weinberg Mastering. Howie is just an absolute legend in this business. We have really cool studios, you and me, Julio. We have great like sound treatment, and you've got some awesome lighting, and we've got speakers and Atmos. Howie, he just has floor to ceiling gold records. His walls are just gold records.
Wow.
And he I don't think anyone is gonna be able to do that again just because of the music climate. The music doesn't sell the way that it used to the point where you could actually collect that many gold records as one human. Um, but he has built this spectacular name for himself that attracts really big names in the world of rock music. And being the engineer at his studio, I get the great pleasure of working on it.
Wow, cool. So, talking about your studio, Seismic,
Hmm.
yeah, David has a beautiful image, I guess, of your studio. I was there, and it's pretty amazing. Yeah,
Oh yeah, this is my website.
yeah,
So I try to keep it as simple as possible. I know people don't want to spend a million years reading a website. So it's just, here's what I am, here's what I do, here's some of the gear that you can expect, although I don't have those speakers anymore. I have these speakers that are behind me, but here's those are some of my favorite records that I got to work on. Everything from Pomplamoose and Scary Pockets to Deftones and Smashing Pumpkins. And you know, people like them came to Howie and came to me for mastering. And if that's the kind of sound you want, I make it pretty simple. There's one button to click on my website, and that's get a quote.
that's cool.
So we get to start mastering. And I try to keep rates and packages simple and easy, accessible for indie artists, because I know that it's 2025 and budgets are tight and deadlines are
Yeah,
fast. And
yeah,
we gotta make do. So
it's a crazy world.
yeah, it is a crazy world. But
Hey,
crazy world turns into great music because people start
yeah,
writing music about the crazy world that they're in, right?
yeah, that's right, that's right.
That's
Hey,
amazing.
so David has to say something. Let
Yeah,
me.
we have a question from the community. Is there a difference between mastering for music and for cinema? How?
Yeah. With cinema, generally you want louder louds and quieter quiets. You have a lot more dynamic range in cinema because you know that the format is going to be a giant movie theater that can go from whispery quiet to thunderously loud, and taking up the whole. Got giant subwoofers in there and giant speakers in there that can really push a lot of air. Um, Whereas with music, program music, commercial music, you also have to compensate for all the people that are going to be listening on earbuds and iPhone speakers and stuff like that. So generally, commercial music is going to have a tighter dynamic range, and cinema music will have a much larger dynamic range. That's the
Yeah,
main difference.
yeah. The dynamic range. And talking about mastering, uh, can you tell me? I don't know if it's secret, but can you tell me what is your chain? Do you use software, hardware, both? Do you use Pro Tools? What do you use?
Yeah, I use a combination of hardware and software. I love software. Um, Hardware is romantic, but it is not always the right choice. And really nothing can beat the recall and the clarity of digital processing. If you spent a really long time making a really punchy, snappy mix, and your snare drum really smacks and your kick really thumps, and you throw that through a tube EQ, your transients are going to get rounded off. That's just that's the fact of the matter. So as much as someone might find a piece of tube equipment to be romantic, it might not be the right choice for punchy, snappy, bright, forward, present, articulate mix. So I spend a lot of time using the Ozone mastering suite and FabFilter, and to a lesser extent Plugin Alliance, a couple pieces in there. But I think Ozone is probably my number one, Ozone 12. And also Tone Projects. The Michelangelo from Tone Projects is a really great EQ plugin that captures the essence of analog when you need it. But in terms of analog equipment, I'm looking at, if I wish I could turn the camera, I can't, but I have a Thermionic Culture Phoenix Mastering Plus, which is a Verymu compressor. It's kind of like in the style of Fairchild, but they give you variable attack and release, so you can dial those in separately from each other. Whereas with the Fairchild, they're locked together, right? One through 6, and that's it. With the Phoenix, you can have attack 1 through 6 and release 1 through 6 separately. And then my EQ is the EAR 825 EQ. They don't make them anymore, but they sound delightful. Both of them are hand-wound tube pieces of equipment. And my mastering console is from SPL, it's the DMC. And my converters are from Apogee Symphony Special Edition. Yeah.
Wow, cool. And your speakers, tell me more about your speakers. Which speakers do you use?
So behind me, if you can see them, maybe I'll tilt the screen a little bit. Oh, there we go. Cool. These are Genelec. The top part is 8341, and the bottom part is W371. This is like a 14-inch cone on the front, and on the back is a 12-inch cone firing equal and opposite into the front wall. So what that effectively does acoustically is it removes the front wall from the sonic equation, so you don't get the similar nodes like peaks and valleys in the room EQ response. It really helps get the room very, very flat. Yeah. And I think if I tilt the screen up a bit, you might be able to see. There you go. Yeah. There's some speakers in the ceiling.
8320.
Yeah, 8320 is up there, and then this is an 8330 or 31, something like that. For the surround Atmos stuff. Cool. And it's a fun room. It's a great room just to hang out, and you'll notice that the big speakers, I'm not facing them right now. I'm actually sitting at my desk.
Yeah.
I work to the side of my room, and when I want to turn and do critical listening, I back up and I get into the sweet spot. Yeah. So it's a matter of do something intentional and then take a moment, walk away and listen to it, experience the music, come back, do the next intentional thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And we have Genelec here too, the 8320. They are amazing. Yeah. So I was wondering about your workflow, but how did you begin when you so for example, I am Julio, I want to that Will master a song that I make, so I send you the song. Do you send any I don't know feedback to me, or how is the process? How long it takes?
Yeah, okay. In terms of whether or not I send you feedback, it
Mhm.
really depends on the quality of the mix that comes in. If I hear something that I know for sure will make the song better, I will at least reply to you and say, "Hey, I heard this in your mix, and I think it might be better if we tried this direction instead. But I don't want to overstep my boundaries. So was the way that you did it, is that intentional, or would you consider going in this direction?" Right? Because at a certain level, you're working with high quality mixing engineers. And many mixing engineers that know what they're doing don't want to be told that their mix needs to be changed, right? So I think part of the game, part of the dance of being a mastering engineer is understanding who you're talking to and whether they're going to be receptive to mix recommendations or not. If Chris Lord Algae or Manny Marroquin sends me a mix, I'm not going to be like, "Hey Manny, your mix sucks. You should have done this, not that." Like that's not my place to do it, right? Like they know what
Yeah.
they're doing. They're going to be in their lane, I'm going to be in my lane, and I'm not going to jump into their lane. But if a mixing engineer or a producer sends me a song and says, "Hey, I think this is done, but I'd love your feedback on it before we start." That's when I know it's like, okay, now we get to have a conversation here. Now I get to be involved in the process, and we can even step back a step or two to make an adjustment in the mix before we get to mastering, before we take this over the finish line. So I guess that's a long way to say that if you want feedback on your mix, ask for it. And if you don't want if you don't want feedback, just say, "Here it is, do it." Right? Here's the mix. It's approved by the artist, go.
Yeah.
And part two of your question, which was what's the turnaround time? Usually it's 3 to 5 business days.
Okay.
I try and keep my weekends as sacred. My weekends are my time for family and all that. So you
Yeah,
send
yeah.
me to something on Friday, I might not even hear it till Monday. But during the week, 3 to 5 business days is a pretty regular turnaround time.
And for Tito and Diablo?
Oh yeah, El Diablo. No, here's Tito right here. Hang on.
Diablo, well.
Here's
Oh,
the good one.
beautiful,
Hey, hi
beautiful.
Tito. Hey bud.
Dogs are amazing. Hey, my friend. Hey, Will,
Yes, sir.
you have mentioned a lot of artists that we have heard in our life. You said Smashing Pumpkins, Deftones, well, a lot of bands. Tell me one song. I know it's difficult, but one song that you said, "Hey, this is a great song that I mastered and that you like it a lot." I know it's difficult because it's like,
Yeah.
which is your favorite dog? No, it's difficult, but
Wow.
yeah, one song or one story for our audience.
Okay. Well, let me think about this for a sec. It has to be a good one. um, I think if I'm gonna recommend one song,
Woo!
probably this one is a good one to check out. The track is called "This Land."
Mm-hmm.
The artist is Gary Clark Jr. Trying to get this where it's not.
Yeah.
"This Land" by Gary Clark Jr. is that was really my lesson from Howie that Digital Zero is a suggestion, but you don't have to stop there. You can keep turning it up past digital 0. And as long as the distortion is intentional and tasteful, distortion and going over 0 can be used as a tool to create emotion.
Yeah.
And this land, which won multiple Grammys that year, there's another one on, oh, you can't see it. That song won 3 Grammys.
Show it. Please.
One, 2, and the third one is an artist Grammy, so I don't get that one.
Wow.
But it won it won 3 Grammys, and part of the point of that record was it's blues and it's supposed to be a little bit dangerous. It's not supposed to sound clean or contained. And by taking the master and blatantly going past digital 0, like putting a limiter, bringing it all the way up to 0, and then adding an EQ after that so that the EQ pushes up over 0, that caused the song to distort intentionally. And every time it gets played on any speaker, it distorts that speaker. And of course, every speaker is going to distort differently because every speaker has different characteristics. But the point of the song is to distort the speaker a little bit because it's supposed to sound a little dangerous.
Yeah. And what is the difference between mastering in stereo? I know this is the question, the most. I think that all the people ask this, but we have to do it.
Yeah.
What is the difference between mastering in stereo and in Dolby Atmos?
Oh, well, mastering in Dolby Atmos is still in development.
Mm-hmm.
Mastering in Dolby Atmos is a little bit of it's our choice to do what we want with it still.
Mm-hmm.
And there are multiple correct ways that we can approach Atmos mastering. And there's only a few rules that we really have to follow. So one of those main rules is that an Atmos master cannot be louder than -18 LUFS.
Mm-hmm.
And it cannot have a true peak above -1 LUFS.
Yeah, but it's okay if I have I don't know, in true peak -3 or something like that. It's okay, or minus.
Totally.
Sorry, yeah.
Totally okay. Yeah, I just can't go above -1.
Okay.
And in my measurements, the last time I did this a couple months ago, we are delivering Atmos masters at -18, but Apple is streaming Atmos masters at -16 or -15. So they're actually taking your -18 master and turning it up 2 or 3 dB.
And how are they doing that? Compressing or?
Probably.
Wow.
I think they're taking the gain up 3 dB, and I'm sure they have a limiter somewhere to make sure it doesn't go over 0. But
so they are mastering the master.
Yeah, kind of. Well, yeah, they're. I think part of the problem was that people couldn't really, like the consumer could not really hear the difference well between here's stereo and here's Atmos. And when stereo is playing back at -16 and Atmos was playing back at -18, people hear the two versions and they think, huh, stereo sounds better because it's louder.
Yeah, I understand.
So I think that might be why they changed a -18 playback to a -15 playback, because now the Dolby version is going to sound bigger and louder. than the stereo version. And so the average consumer that does not care about any of the things that we're talking about will hear the Dolby version and say, this sounds better because it's a little bit fuller, or it's a little bit bigger, or they'll use some word like that. But it's because it's a little louder.
I didn't know that. That's a good point. Yeah.
So, but right now, there's not too many tools on the market for Atmos mastering. The main one that I use is the Dolby Atmos album assembler.
Yeah.
But when you use that, you're limited to Dolby's
gain,
EQ, gain, and Dolby's limiter, and that's it. If I wanted to use anything from Ozone or anything from FabFilter or Plugin Alliance, the way that I do this is if someone sends me an Atmos file to master, you can open up that Atmos file in a session. You can open that in Pro Tools or Logic, and it expands the Atmos file, and you can see the bed, which is the 7.1 bed, and then each object as a separate wave file with the metadata of where that object is supposed to be placed in the room. So that all stays with it. So then you can go into that session and you can start adding plugins onto each object, onto the bed. And that's how I've been able to use something like Ozone on an Atmos master. You open it up in Logic first, or you open it up in Pro Tools first, put the plugins on it, rebounce it, and then pull it into the album assembler.
Wow. Hey, Will, I know that David has a question for you. David.
Yeah, I actually got a lot of community questions. I'm gonna go through the ones on Discord first, the people that sent us question before the live stream. They were asking, your masters always have a unique clarity and energy. What's one decision or philosophy in your workflow that you feel defines your signature sound?
Ooh, clarity and energy, right? Thank you. That's a compliment, because that's what I'm going for. So I'm going for clarity and energy.
Cool.
Well, one of the things that I learned directly from Howie, and that I practice as much as I possibly can, is I almost never use a limiter to do more than 2 decibels. So in terms of getting things loud, I get things loud by pushing into a clipper or using the clipper itself to turn up. And then after I get most of my loudness with a clipper, the last couple dBs are done with a limiter. And I have found that strategy usually 9 out of 10 times beats using a limiter to do all your gain, right? So if you need to do 8 decibels of gain, you're better off doing 6 with a clipper and 2 with a limiter rather than doing all 8 with a limiter. That's gonna almost always lead to more punch and more clarity.
And Will, do you have I don't know, in a moment of your life, have you teach in school or something like that? Have you been a
No, I teach through YouTube sometimes.
Yeah,
I have something to talk about. I talk about it on YouTube. So, my channel is just my name, Will Borza, and I talk about limiters and compressors and aliasing and a whole bunch of nerdy stuff over there too.
Yeah, you have a lot of views. I don't know if David can open his YouTube channel while we're talking.
Give me a sec. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, I have seen your videos. Your thumbnails are amazing too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember a studio tour in a video that you have there. I don't know if about the studio of Howie
Yeah, I
or
did a
something like
Howie
that?
studio tour. That's really cool because I think Howie's studio is really unique in process. It's unique today because most people have one computer and they're using one computer to go out and back in
Yeah.
when they use analog equipment. But with Howie's studio, he's using a computer over here that sends into his console, and then a second computer over here that captures the analog pass.
Mhm.
So when we master at Howie's, it's the original sample rate. Let's say you mixed it 48K. 48K plays into the analog console, and then it gets captured at 96 or 44.1 or whatever the final sample rate is going to be. And we avoid sample rate conversion, aliasing, and artifacts and stuff like that. It's
Mhm.
pretty cool.
Yeah. Hey, well, I was wondering. I have a question for you, but I know this is a question that a lot of people has, and it's in this year we are in 2025, and a lot of people are mastering with AI and a lot of tools. Why it's important to hire a real human to master and not an artificial intelligence?
I will say this, and this is probably an unpopular opinion, but it is what I believe. Not every song needs to be mastered by a human. Sometimes it's okay to get your song mastered by AI. Um, I I would say that let's take Instagram as an example. Okay. Um, Oftentimes we will take photos of our food, whatever we had for lunch, and we'll post that on Instagram. And we will use Instagram to find a filter that looks a little bit better than just, a raw photo taken with your camera. So the food looks a little bit more interesting. Do you really need to hire a professional photographer to do a photo shoot for your lunch?
No.
No, you can take a picture of it and you can add a filter and it's good to go. It's ready to go for the internet. The internet is ready to see that. Now, if you're going to take a family photo, you and your spouse and your kid and your dog, and you're going to have it blown up to be really large and you're going to hang it over your fireplace or in your hallway, and it's going to be there for the next 30 years, and you're going to hand that photo down to your kids and their kids and their kids, should you really do that with an iPhone and an Instagram filter? No. In that case, you should
Yeah.
hire a professional photographer.
Yeah.
So what we have to ask ourselves anytime we make music is this music an Instagram lunch, or is this music something that I want to be part of my legacy?
Wow.
And then you make a decision based on that. If you don't care about the song, if it's just a small project, if it's just a quick, easy, let's get it out the door for content because it's just an idea and I'm not ready for it to be polished, yeah, use AI. That's what it's there for. But when you're ready to put out a real record, when you're ready to have something that's like, I'm proud of this and this is my statement as an artist and I want this to follow me forever, put more time into it. Put more effort into it, hire professionals to get you across the finish line.
No, I like that analogy. I like it. What do you think, David Seacard?
That's amazing. That's amazing, and that's actually true. Because, for example, I feel like every song has a function. For example, the music that you work on is used a lot. For example, for working out and for you get like this lot of working out and gaming kind of
Mm-hmm.
things. But there are some songs for some artists that are actually meant to be digestible or meant to be like a step for something different. And I agree with that. Like, not everything has to be a testament, an artistic testament. Um, but well, it's complicated. What you said is it's quite complicated. but I see the point. We actually
Well,
have.
okay. Here's another analogy, real quick.
Sure.
You have in this world, you have room for like a light beer and a craft brewery. You can get the really cheap beer that you pour into red Solo cups and play beer pong with, and you can also get a really expensive beer that you sit down by a fireplace with your best friends or a campfire, and you have a really nice classy beer. There is room for both types of beer on the market.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
You have to choose if your music deserves to be mastered by fast, cheap, or you
Yeah,
want
and
to
fast and
keep it
cheap
real.
doesn't make it wrong. It's just a
Hmm.
different, it serves a different purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, you make me think, for example, on catalog music and stock music. For example, these composers that have to make like 30 tracks a day and make like a mixing template. They have, for example,
Yes.
mastering template or master AI, and they start sending a lot of these songs to the catalogs. They're asking me, what made mastering process special for you?
What made the mastering process special for me? If the question is why did I choose mastering over mixing or recording or some other
I think that might be it. Yeah,
part of the process,
yeah, I think that might be it.
um, it was more a matter of mastering chose me, not I chose mastering.
Ah.
Um, I think when I started back, when I learned Logic in the dorms, I was trying to do everything. I wanted to be a producer and a record label, and I wanted to record, and I wanted to mix, and I wanted to master. I wanted to be the one-stop shop, and an artist could come and get the whole record from on a bar napkin all the way out to a on a CD. Well, that kind of tells you how old I am.
How old are you?
36?
36? Oh,
Yeah, something
I
like
am
that.
I am 40.
40. So
Yeah.
CDs.
Yeah, sure.
You
And
remember CDs.
David Sicar is 20, but working in the studio and everything, he looks like
This is what
uh,
music production has done to
45.
me. Now I'm
This is
32.
what music does to you.
Yeah, this is
You gotta go outside,
yeah.
man, get a tan.
Kids, this is what you can
um,
expect. um,
I think as you mature, you realize that people don't want to hire a one-stop shop. They want to hire specialists, right? They want to go to a studio that records as best as possible. And they want to go to a mixing engineer that only does mixing. And then they want to go to a mastering engineer that only does mastering. And then they want to get a label that does not record, mix, and master because they want a specialist at every step of the way to help them with the most chance of success. So mastering really was one of the things that I was able to do, and going into the gig at Bleeding Fingers, the Hans Zimmer thing, I was still trying to do everything. And by the end of my time at Bleeding Fingers, I had put way more hours towards mastering than any other discipline. So at that point, on after graduating from the Hans Zimmer camp, mastering had found me, and that's why I do mastering.
This is like the question when they ask me how I choose my dog. So yeah, I say like my dog, he choose me. I didn't.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You go to the dog store, and one of them's gonna jump into your arms, and it's like, oh, this is the one.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Will, we have like 10 minutes left, but I want to ask you something. How is working in LA with a lot of studios, a lot of audio engineers. You have Apogee in Santa Monica. You have all the places over the industry. I don't know if it's sometimes cool or sometimes hard. What do you think?
Wow. That is the question that I am constantly struggling with, because a big part of me wants to move somewhere that's less busy.
Yeah.
Some place where I can afford a little bit bigger space and have a yard for my dogs to play in. Right now, they just have a little bit of concrete in the back. They don't have grass to run around in or play ball with. But it's hard to do that here in LA. It's hard to afford to do that here in LA. Oh, hey, there's my YouTube channel. Yep. That's fun. Wow, 121. That did better. That's great. That Secret to Perfect Compression is a great video. Yeah, if you're gonna start with one, that's the one.
And look at this, you have a lot of views.
Yeah, that's doing pretty well.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about that you want to move.
I think
maybe we can exchange. Come here and
you want to trade? Yeah. So really, to answer your question more directly, it is the opportunities that present themselves in LA cannot be beat anywhere in the world. LA is the home to some of the best record companies in the world, the best studios in the world, and there's more studios per square feet than anywhere else on the planet. You can take your motorcycle and you can be at Apogee in about half an hour, and then you can go from Apogee to Manley Laboratories in the headphone company. And then you can go to and then you can swing by Capitol Records and then Universal and the Christmas parties are insane. The networking opportunities are amazing, and I almost want to say I'm going to say it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
It can sometimes, it's just too much, and you want to go run away and hide for a month and recharge somewhere. I have a friend who lives in Big Bear, which is up the hill. It's about an hour more or less with traffic, but it's up a mountain, and then he's surrounded by trees, and he lives in a cabin, and he makes all his music there. And when he needs to, he can come down the mountain and come into LA. But that's a really cool setup, is you're that close to LA, but you don't have to stay in LA. You can always go back to your cabin in the woods and recharge.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about that. Maybe it depends if you want to be in the heart. Or well, you have weekends for that to run away.
You got weekends.
Yeah. Run away.
It depends so much on your personality. I know a lot of us studio people, we love our dark rooms and we love being alone, and that's kind of why we chose this career, is because we can be by ourselves in a dark room and just make music. If that's your personality, that's not LA's personality. LA is about going out every night. LA is about meeting new people and hanging out with friends as often as possible.
Yeah.
So if that's your personality, if you want to live in a lighter room and you want more people to come over more often and you want to go out more often, LA is perfect.
Well, the events in LA and New Los Angeles are great too. Are you going to NAMM?
Yeah, gonna go to NAMM.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's mandatory, right?
Oh yeah, it's right down the street, and then you go to Disneyland afterwards because it's right there.
How many times have you been in Disneyland? Oh, how many times?
Because I grew up here, I had an annual passport growing up, so I was in Disneyland 3, 4 times a week as a child.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
that was my
amazing.
second home.
That's amazing, man. My friend, we're running out of time, but I have my last question,
Sure.
and this is an important question.
Okay.
David has something to say.
Yeah,
John.
something really important. John Cribbit is saying hi to all of us. Julio Monroy
Hey, John Krivit,
and Will.
my
Thank you,
friend.
John, for being here. Remember that opening next year, there's going to be an amazing event next to Soundcheck Expo, which is called the Pan American Audio Educators Conference from April 18, and it's going to take place also on April 20 at World Trade Center in Mexico City. So I just wanted to point that out for you to, well, go to the website, panamericanaudioeducators.com, and you can find all the information over there. And now I leave you with the last question.
Thank you,
Thanks,
David.
David.
Yeah, I was wondering, or maybe, which advice would you give to the new audio students that want to be in this music world with AI and
Mhm.
that is really fast? What would be your advice?
Anyone can learn how to make a record sound good. The technical skill of learning how to use an EQ to make a song sound better is the easy part. The hard part is learning how to run a business, and the hard part is building a network of peers around you that are going to be able to rise up with you. Every great opportunity that I got in this industry was not because of my ability to make a record sound better. It was my peer group that recommended me for the gig.
Wow.
So yeah, learning how to use EQs and compressors is the barrier of entry. Like you need to know how to do that, but that's the easy part. The hard part is building your network and learning how to run a good business, a clean business, a business that operates above board and is profitable. That's really the people that have longevity and staying power in the industry. People that know how to run a business and people that have a good network of peers.
Thank you, Will.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
before we leave, don't leave, don't leave.
No,
But
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not.
before, your hands up.
Yeah,
Before that,
still here.
David has something special to tell us about this episode.
Yeah, remember that you're gonna be able to find this episode as a podcast episode on all streaming platforms. You just go to the platform which you prefer. It could be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever, and you search for Produciendo con Julio Monroy. You will be able to find this episode and all past episodes as well. Also, remember to join our Discord server. In this server, we talk about music, music engineering, hardware, software, mastering, songwriting, whatever you want to talk about audio, we can talk it there. You can send us your work and we can share as a huge audio community on there. So be sure to check that Discord out. That's the QR if you want to join our Discord.
Thank you, David. Well, Will, it has been a pleasure to have you here.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, my friend. And I know that you have a lot of projects to do. You're a busy person, and thank you for taking the time to talk with us. Thank you.
That's my pleasure. Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you,
Thank you, my
Julio.
friend. Thank you, my friend. And David, thanks a lot for everything. David in the controls, the person who changed the scenes. And yeah, thank you, David.
Thank you, David. Nice work.
It was my pleasure. Thank you a lot, Will, for
And the
being
good
here.
stuff.
It was a huge honor to have you here. And thank you, Julio, for creating these amazing spaces as well. Thanks to all the people that connected. We actually have another person saying hi, Jonathan Apple.
Hey, Jonathan Apple.
Is saying hi to us as well. So, well, thanks to all the people that connected, all the people that sent all the questions, and well, it's been an amazing episode. And now I leave you with Julio Monroy.
Well, thank you everyone, and has been a pleasure to talk with Will. And well, see you next week. We're going to talk with Kyle from Audio University, the YouTube channel. We're going to talk about education in YouTube. So, see you next week. Bye bye.